So I've just got this quick last comment, and I'm going to put it direct to EDAS via your chair, Liz, who, by the way, I'm a huge fan of. So the first thing I would say is, we've heard the experts. You felt the vibe. If you haven't, then you need to give yourself a wake-up call, because this is a unstoppable journey to net zero and just transition. You either are part of it, or you're privy to it, or you're away from it, and you're looking on thinking, I should have been involved in that. And here's a newsflash, that your expertise, yours, not mine, yours, is the very expertise we need at this most critical of time. So when your granddaughters and your grandkids, etc., or your nieces and nephews are saying to you one day, what were you doing when COP26 was coming to Glasgow, when the world was trying to figure out how to have an economic adventure that delivered prosperity for all, delivered well-being for communities, and delivered nature-based solutions in that kind of all altruistic, fantastic vision? Were you looking at processes? No. Or were you looking at outcomes? Let's think about outcomes. So an outcome for to me today is just to say thank you to you all. Thank you to EDAS and you. And by the way, there's a bunch of people behind the scenes who you can't hear, who are in my ear, who are unbelievable. They are the real heroes of today. They are the kind of NASA people who make sure everything looks swimmingly effective here. And Elaine and Alison, you're all wonderful, and I just think you're smashing. So my call to action to you, Liz, and to EDAS and the community, and your community, your partners of your community, is, are you going to be the economic development association that Scotland needs at its moment of time, at its greatest opportunity? And how do you bring about this change in the system, so that a lot of the problems and challenges that we're focused on today about how do you get the sums right, how do you get the narrative right, how do you keep the hope over fear? So my call to action for you all is, this is your time. I know you've had your time, you've been doing lots of brilliant stuff, I'm not saying that, but this is the time the country needs you most. So Liz, I'll maybe pass on to you, and I'd like to thank you all for having me here today. Thank you. I think you're on mute, Liz.
Sorry about that. I was just saying thank you, Martin. Thanks so much for doing such a tremendous job as host this afternoon. It's quite frenetic. I think you're absolutely right. We're on a group chat in the background, so we've all been chatting madly at each other. So it's been quite a pace this afternoon for us all to be working at and trying to listen and take in and think about what this might mean. But I think, you asked the question, is EDAS stepping up to the challenge of this? And I want to say right away, yes, absolutely. I think if you look at our strategy, I would encourage everybody to look at this. It's there. It's why we've created this event. It's why we want to build momentum about what we're doing here. It does feel different. You're right. I think EDAS has been a fantastic organisation over many, many years, working in quite a mainstream, taking a very mainstream approach to how economic development has evolved and the priorities within that. But there's a massive shift clearly taking place now. And I think that we're in the right place, as you say, Martin, at the right time. I'm going to reflect on some of the things that some of the speakers said, because I think this is going to help us to have the conversations that we have to have now. There's kind of initial reaction to what's happened today, but there's also going away and having some conversations with our board members, etc., to think, okay, what does this mean for us? But just some reflections. I mean, I loved the way that Susan began the session by saying climate change and social change go hand in hand, because that completely chimes with our vision. She set a challenge to our audience, all of you here today, to have ideas ready for November in time for COP26. Ideas around opportunities that can be rolled out at scale. And I think EDAS can really create spaces for collaboration and ideas sharing and learning to support that process. So as part of this, I would want our members to be thinking about how each pound of investment that you're taking on board in this agenda makes not just climate impact, but also makes social impact. So we'd really want to support that. Chris also covered obviously the 4 areas. All of the speakers were fantastic. So I really want to thank everyone's contribution. But I think, Chris was great in terms of crystal clear, messages around reducing the high carbon demand, adopting low carbon technologies, building infrastructure and capacity for low carbon fuels, and making changes to the natural world. Those 4 key planks, if you like, in the approach that needs to be taken. Well, all of this is going to be, I think, clearly much more the mainstream of economic development going forward. So I think we have a question now in EDAS as to how do we support that? What does that mean? What does it mean for our education programs, our CPD, our learning, the spaces that we create for dialogue? So I think we want to reflect on that, but what we would be saying is absolutely we want to make sure we're creating those spaces for that. Chris and Kirsty, we're also encouraging everyone to see this as a challenge for their own work and your own roles as individuals. And also, I love the way that Chris was placing a call to everyone to be leaders. And I think that's about being leaders in both your professional life, but also in your personal life too, because this is so momentous at both societal level, and professional level. So again, from an EDAS perspective, I would want to look at what EDAS's role is there to play, if you like, in facilitating that leadership role, via our learning program and our practice events. And I think we're looking at a new kind of leadership here as well. A different kind of knowledge basis and different skill sets are needed. So, we're really well placed, I think, as an organisation, because of the academic links that we have and that we utilise, to reimagine our learning and our CPD programme to support all of that. James and Lindsay, again, very tangible examples of private sector-led interventions at the forefront and the vanguard of thinking in this agenda. Really forward thinking. But they also, I thought, was really important. Clearly, we're making the case that it's about coming together. Bringing in new partners, new interests. They mentioned finance, NGOs, all parts of the public sector. Not just economic development, all parts of the public sector. Social enterprise as well is clearly part of all of this. Small businesses. So collaboration and how to do this to great effect is also part of our support work in EDAS, I think, going forward. I love the simplicity and clarity of the three themes, that Lindsay was describing, leadership, collaboration, legacy. I think that's actually a really good way for economic development practitioners to frame the work that we're doing around this agenda. So I think, in summary, what I would say, EDAS, we've got the audience, we've got, we connect to the economic development community. We're going to continue to create spaces for sharing and learning. And we're looking to create a community of practice, actually, to give this focus. So I'm really pleased that when we saw the kind of results of the poll at the end there, as you say, Martin, nobody said we shouldn't be focusing on this, and actually everybody said that all of those themes should be brought forward. But actually, the community of practice one was the one that was in the lead. So we'd be really keen, obviously, now to get that moving as quickly as possible. So we're here, I think, really to keep the profile on this, keep the conversations going, foster thinking, foster engagement, linking experts and practitioners in the field, very much focusing on the way to bring the aspirations of all of this into reality through practice and in pragmatic ways as well. So I hope that answers the questions, Martin. I'm not sure if you're still in dialogue mode or not, but I want
still
to
here.
Oh, good. I hope that's sufficient in my summary, but I think the answer is yes, we're here and we're really keen. And I think, the energy, I know we're not in the same room, but I think the energy and the momentum and the pace that has taken place this afternoon, the ideas, all, certainly make me, and I know the rest of the board and the people who are in our membership really enthused about what we do now going forward in framing our response to this, and we're here to support that process. So absolutely, we're on board. I think I'm now summing up and or saying the goodbyes and so on. So I'm just checking the time here. It's 15:20. So yeah, it's time. So can I just, as Martin said, thank all of you for attending today. I think it's been a tremendous event. Really enjoyed it. Really, top-notch contributions from all the speakers. Fantastic hosting from Martin, and great support in the background from Elaine and Alison and Holly and Elizabeth again. So thank you so much for that. And I think what we'll say is just watch this space. We have got our second conference will be taking place in a few months' time. That will also be within the framework of climate change, but looking at people. So we will be able to share details of that within the coming months. We'll obviously keep you posted as to when that will take place and who we've got coming forward in terms of speakers. But I think really exciting time for us to be engaging with this agenda. But actually, it's almost not optional. We need to be part of this because our community has so much to contribute, and really, it's really vital that we're part of the team. So thanks everybody, and we will see you all again very soon.